back to another edition of Devout Deism. I am your host, David Robertson. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the comments. Everything you're doing to be involved. It is much appreciated. First and foremost, I want to apologize. I haven't been able to upload any videos recently, and it's also been difficult for me to answer questions in a timely manner, and I do apologize for that. I've had a lot on my plate. But for those of you who are stepping in and trying to help out and answer questions for those who have asked them, I do appreciate that. And things of that nature. I want to cover today some frequently asked questions, but before I do, I wanted to hit on a comment that kind of struck a chord with me. And it says, "You're putting yourself in trouble, buddy. You are discussing a very deep theory in a very childish way." Now, of course, this had to do with one of the specific points that I've addressed on some of my videos here. But exactly, that's exactly the point. And I'm glad that you said it. I don't know about putting myself into trouble. That's not the point of these videos. And for everybody else, I want you to understand, my videos are not, as far as devout deism go, is not about preaching to the choir. Look, I don't have to tell a deist what deism is. That's not the point. I don't want to do that. I'm not interested in doing that. And honestly, that's well, counterproductive. I don't want to do that. The point of these videos is because so many times I have people who are not deists who ask me questions about it, who are doing research and they're not finding the resources necessary to answer their questions. My videos are not to explain the ins and outs of every single topic that I might touch. The point of my videos is to, in a very quote-unquote childish way, to use your words, to explain some of the fundamental basics of deism so they have a better understanding of what it is. So yeah, I'm not putting myself in trouble at all. Matter of fact, if anybody would like to debate the merits of any aspect of deism, feel free to do it. I absolutely love doing that. And a great place to do that would be over at unifieddeism.com. That's an open forum where you can hit any kind of aspect of any given topic you want, and instead of me being able to answer in so many characters, I can do it in mass. So, but word of warning, I guess, for anybody who tries to debate me, I'm kind of long-winded if you haven't told, or haven't been able to tell by my videos, and it gets worse, and probably 72 times more detailed in my writing. So, yeah, but that is the point. I am trying to do it in a very childish, quote-unquote, dumbed-down way so everybody understands it. I want people to understand that to be intellectual doesn't mean that you have to have a doctorate. Okay? To be intellectual means that you're just going to question, that you're going to do a little bit of research. But not everybody has the same background or the same education in order to fulfill that requirement. That's the point of these videos. And I guess the point of this video definitely plays into that as well. It's a frequently asked question. Is deism really a religion? Short answer is yes. But I wanted to, this is going to be one of the few times, I guess, that I can really kind of delve into it. But let's address this. The most recent one came up, and as an explanation, it says, deism is not a religion. It has no rules or doctrine. I think it can be classified as a philosophy, though. Well, it's true that we're definitely classified as a philosophy. However, it's not true that deism is not a religion, and it's also not true that there are no rules or doctrine. Now, of course, when I'm saying this, you have to understand that I am speaking in definition. I will be addressing definition, but and it's probably a technicality. I may be taking it out of context, but I want everybody who's researching deism, if you're coming across this video, I want you to understand that what I'm doing here is I'm trying to put it all on a level playing field, because there's a lot of people out there, journalists, for instance, who don't know what deism is, maybe read an article or two about deism, think they know, and then they try to tell the world what it is, and they're very, very, very wrong. So I want to level the playing field, if you will, as far as what deism is. And once again, as far as that statement goes, I respectfully disagree with that, but there's a very good reason for it. First, I want to look at the word deism. All right, it's actually a derivative of two languages, Latin and English, or technically Old English, but still, it's still English. Deus, which is Latin, it actually means God. Okay, and then of course ism. To look up the definition of ism, is a distinctive practice, system, philosophy, or movement. So by the word itself, you can see that it's a practice, system, movement, philosophy of God. All right, and then that's important to understand. Okay, definition of deism: belief in the existence of a supreme being, specifically of a creator who does not intervene in the universe. Okay, now specifically the creator, specifically of a creator who does not intervene in the universe is kind of irrelevant to the definition in what I'm talking about today, because that's kind of the whereabouts of what we do in deism, what we believe. But the point is belief in the existence of a supreme being. Okay. Now philosophy, I want to address philosophy real quick. The study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline. Okay, but the foundation is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence. Okay, so yes, by definition of philosophy, deism definitely falls under that. Now, let's address the definition of religion: the belief in and worship of a supreme being or controlled power, especially a personal god or gods. Now, if we refer back to the definition of deism, the belief in the existence of a supreme being, they're just about the same. The only difference is the term "and worship." Okay. Now, deists don't go to church per se, but I would say that we do, to some extent, at least some, do quote unquote worship. Okay, we do recognize everything in our lives are kind of geared towards that. I'm going to get into that here in a second. But you have to understand that the religion part, a belief in and worship of a supreme being or controlled power, we do have the part of the supreme being, the belief in the existence of a supreme being, and that's important to understand. Another definition of religion is a personal set or institutionalized system of religious attitudes, beliefs, and practices, which I would say that for the most part, deists definitely have. It's definitely a personal set of religious attitudes, beliefs, and practices. But then, of course, we have to address the doctrine side of that. Doctrine, literally by definition, is a belief or set of beliefs held and taught by a church, political party, or other group. Well, deists are definitely a group. In fact, this is a long-standing group, if you will. You could go further to say that a doctrine is used to refer to a principle of law in the common law traditions established through a history of past decisions, such as the doctrine of self-defense, the doctrine of natural law, or the principle of fair use, or the more narrowly applicable first sale doctrine. In some organizations, doctrine is simply defined as that which is taught. In other words, the basis for institutional teaching of its personal internal ways of doing business, which deists definitely have. And proof of this, by the way, is in the fact that deism is still alive and well today. If deism wasn't around today, because deism is around today, is testament to the idea that the ideas have been passed down from generation to generation, from those who seek this information out, or what have you. There are books. Thomas Paine's got some books, and of course there's plenty of books that predate that. So there is doctrine, there is teaching that goes on. These videos, for instance, could be, by definition, considered doctrine because I am teaching and I'm passing it on. But then, of course, we're talking about doctrine is used to refer to a principle of law. deists believe that the governing faction, if you will, of society or of the planet or of the universe is the laws of nature. So by, once again, the doctrine of natural law, we are seeing that, sure enough, there are a certain set of rules that all scientists and even religion now at this point believe in and understand to be true. For instance, like the law of gravity. Things of that nature, if you will, are just testament to what I'm saying. So while I am splitting hairs and I don't normally do that, it's so we can level the playing field. By the way, I can think of a few things that would be that could be considered doctrine as far as deism. Once again, natural law, I talked about that, but the doctrine of Voltaire, the idea to question with boldness everything based on reason, that's definitely a doctrine of deism. In fact, the doctrine or creed of deism, if you will, is the belief or system of those who acknowledge the existence of one God but deny revelation. It's not my words, that's a definition. So anyway, as you can see, there are deists who do worship, who do pursue, who practice, who continue to learn, who devote their lives to the idea of deism and exploring information, and it's extensive. For some of us. Of course, it's not the way with everybody, but of course you'd see that in any religion. I mean, you see some devout Christians, for instance, who go to the Wednesday worship and the Sunday worship, and they're always involved. And then you have those who aren't involved in anything, who maybe go on Easter, and that's it, you know. So it's really, I mean, you have to understand kind of where that's coming from, where, you know, somebody like myself dedicates a little bit more time than probably the average deist to the understanding and I guess fundamental principles of deism. There are those who don't. And then, of course, there's some who blow me out of the water as far as time vested in researching and trying to better understand. And these are probably more regarded to as philosophers in deism. So once again, you're right. But once again, I respectfully disagree that it's not a religion. And it's actually been recognized globally as a religion for quite some time, which of course then the next question pops up is how long has it been around? How long has it been around? Obviously gives a little bit of, I don't know, substantial backing to the idea of the religion or being an official religion. Well, deism is first found in a dictionary in 1675, and of course we have to understand too that was when the Christian church still ruled everything pretty much. And if you were to look up famous deists, you would come across guys like Aristotle, who lived from 384 BC to 322 BC. Cicero, 106 BC to 43 BC. Now, how can this be? That's the question. How can this be? If you're looking up famous deists, and deism was only found in the first found in a dictionary in 1675, how can this be? Well, these types from way back in the day are referred to as paleo-deists. Okay, and it's because they are the inspiration. They were the philosophers and those who studied natural religion, if you will. They're the ones who laid the foundation for what would later be classical deism and modern deism and pandeism and things of that nature. Okay, and then of course you have to go a little bit further into the future from their time, and then you're going to find guys who expanded upon that, like Leonardo da Vinci and Voltaire, Matthew Tyndall, for instance, Isaac Newton, for crying out loud. These are all examples of paleo-deists, but it's interesting because that's about where the paleo-deist movement ends, because then of course it becomes that's where classical deists come in, or classical deism, if you will, and of course it expands from there over the course of time. Eventually you had modern deism, and truth be told, at some point in time in the distant future, you're going to have even more. Or I should say maybe an evolved form of deism at some point. So understand, of course, that we're talking about the belief in God or the belief in a God based on natural religion only. All right? or the belief in religion, religious truths discovered by people through a process of reasoning. Okay, that includes Cicero and Aristotle. That's where these ideas came from. Okay, so it's kind of, well, if you could look at Christianity. I mean, Christ died 300 and some odd years later. They had decided they were going to put a Bible together. Were there religious writings during the time of Christ? Of course there were. But it's the same thing with deism. We had writings and ideas that came before. All right, but these people were the ones who formed it, if you will. The ideas, the proof, if you will. So paleo-deists probably didn't know they were eventually going to be called that, but they were definitely the primary portion of the biggest portion of the foundation of where classical deism and all the other forms of deism would come from. The idea to question with boldness, to use reason, to look at natural phenomenon and to find a rational reason for it. So as a religion, as an organized, recognized religion, which would have been, and I understand this, it would have been extremely hard to do, to be recognized as a religion when you had the Catholic Church so overbearing for so long. But it has been recognized as a religion for well over 400 years. And it's a religion reserved primarily for the intellectual. Once again, as we talked about, it's not, once again, somebody who has to be a doctorate or a master degree or even, college educated. It's the intellectual, somebody who can question with boldness everything, including the existence of a God, because if there be a God, he would more pay homage to reason than to blindfolded fear. Thomas Jefferson, who once again is a classical deist. But once again, it's only because it's the intellectual who's willing to question everything with boldness and then search for an answer based on reason, much like a scientist. So I hope this kind of levels the playing field. I hope everybody kind of gets a better understanding of what it is. Is it a religion? Yes. Is it a philosophy? Yes. Do we have rules? Natural law. I mean, it's the foundation. The natural law is the foundation of our deal. Do we have specific rules as far as what you can and can't do? No. Do unto others as you'd want done to yourself. Basic human rights. In fact, if you would like to look into the eyes of what the quote-unquote rules are for deism, I would say look no further than the Bill of Rights. The United States Bill of Rights, that is a great place to start because these are fundamental deist ideas. And then, of course, doctrine is the teaching. We're definitely teaching. I'm teaching right now. So hopefully this clears up some of that. Once again, I apologize if it feels like I'm splitting hairs, but I want everybody to understand that it's definitely a legitimate religion. And it will continue to be, because as knowledge, as science, as all of these major disciplines continue to grow, and our understanding of the universe continues to grow, deism will grow, because that's what we do. It's to better understand our universe and appreciate it for what it is and for who provided it. One final thing: do we believe in intervention? That was another thing that I was going to address at the beginning of the. Some do. Some classical deists do believe in intervention, but it's not like maybe what Christians or Islam maybe or Judaism even believe. We don't believe that if you pray you're going to get your way or God's going to listen to your prayer and then come fix it. We believe in intervention in the fact that there are natural laws in place. Maybe there is a plan in place. We don't speculate that there is, but we don't deny that there is. And if there is, the only way that there would be an intervention would be an alteration of the plan, or if there was a situation where there was an attempted breach of natural law. And of course, as science and the abilities of the human species begins to expand further, there's undoubtedly going to be some catastrophic events as we continue to push our limits. Is that intervention? I don't know. Once again, I'm not the one, and I can't really speak to that because I'm not quote-unquote a classical deist. I do have classical tendencies, but I also have modern tendencies and probably even paleo tendencies if we're really going to get down to it. So I can't really speak to that, but just understand, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, if you put 100 deists into a room, you're going to have 100 different variations of what deism is. But the foundation of what we have and what we believe is universal, which is, of course, the belief in the existence of a supreme being, specifically of a creator who does not necessarily, in all cases, intervene in the universe when when prayed for, when asked for. So, but belief in the existence of a supreme being. Okay, so that's what that is. Hopefully, that's cleared up some of those questions. Comments, questions. Feel free to hit me up. And once again, I apologize for delayed reactions and for the lack of videos for some time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of Devout Deism. Thank you for being a part of the program. We'll see you next time.